Hi everyone, this is Migs from Sneaks and Ball PH, and today we have a quick look and unboxing on the Nike Kyrie S2 Hybrid, what the USA. To start things off, this is the second iteration of the Kyrie Hybrid series. So the first Kyrie Hybrid took elements from the Kyrie 1, 2, and 3 and meshed them all into one shoe. On the other hand, this S2 Hybrid mixes elements of the 4, 5, and 6 into one shoe as well. As far as I know, the Kyrie S1 did okay sales-wise. Not a lot of NBA players also rock the shoe because, tech-wise, when you talk about the Nike Kyrie 1 to Kyrie 3, they really weren't the best. As far as I can remember, the only NBA player I've actually seen wear the Kyrie Hybrid in a game would be Jarrett Allen from the Brooklyn Nets. So in my opinion, the Kyrie S1 Hybrid didn't really have that much of an impact. This is also why I'm kind of uncertain on how this S2 Hybrid will do, since I'm not really sure how many people will be clamoring to get these and how many NBA players will actually play in a pair of these. But on the flip side, since all three of these shoes perform pretty well and have some solid aesthetics as well, this Kyrie S2 Hybrid might actually do a lot better than the S1 Hybrid. And who knows, we may actually see a lot more players rock the S2 Hybrid on court. Then with that out of the way, let's get into the unboxing. So the box on the Nike Kyrie S2 Hybrid is actually a mix of all of the boxes from the Kyrie 4 to the Kyrie 6. So you do have that red color here on the sides of the box, which are from the Kyrie 4. Then you have that sort of 90s video game font that comes from the Kyrie 6 box. Then this silver lid as well as that Illuminati style logo is from the Kyrie 5. Then now time to take a peek at the shoes. So you do have your standard style lid, and opening that up, you have some plain paper underneath. Whew. Colorway is definitely eye-catching, and here you have it, guys. This is the Nike Kyrie S2 Hybrid, what the USA. So just taking both shoes out of the box, so here you have your left shoe, and right off the bat it looks a lot more like the Kyrie 4, but we will compare these to those other shoes later. And just putting this aside, then here you have your right shoe, and the colorway is definitely very loud. So here you have it, guys. This is the Nike Kyrie S2 Hybrid, what the USA. So with the tech specs on the Kyrie S2 Hybrid, I will be comparing them to the Kyrie 4, 5, and 6. So starting off with the outsole, you do have the traction pattern from the Kyrie 4. So it essentially uses the same stair-step traction pattern. So I do have my Kyrie 4 parquet floors here with me. So as you can see, it is pretty much the same. You do have that same break in the middle for some flexibility. And if the rubber compound is exactly the same as the Kyrie 4s, then this Kyrie S2 Hybrid should perform really well because the traction on the Kyrie 4s was pretty good. This Kyrie S2 Hybrid colorway also comes in XDR rubber here in the Philippines. So even though the Kyrie 4's traction is pretty durable already, the XDR outsole just makes it even better. Then for the cushion, it's also pretty much the same as the Kyrie 4's. So you do have that same Cushlon midsole and that large volume zoom unit in the heel. When the Kyrie 4 released around 3.5 years ago, it was such a breath of fresh air because the cushion on the Kyrie 2s and the Kyrie 3s was absolutely garbage. So it was really nice that we got a cushion setup like this on the Kyrie 4, and we have the same cushion setup here on the Kyrie S2 Hybrid. This might actually be my favorite cushion setup among all of the Kyries because I really enjoy the plushness of the Cushlon foam. It still is pretty low to the ground, but you do get a lot more plushness than you would with all the other Kyrie models. You also have that large volume zoom unit in the heel just for some added bounce and impact protection if you are a heel striker. Then for the materials, the upper of the Kyrie S2 Hybrid has a pretty tight-knit mesh, and initially I had a hard time figuring out which mesh it's from because the Kyrie 4, 5, and 6 all use this really fine mesh as well, but they all do have a slightly different feel. However, after much deliberation, I decided that the Kyrie S2 Hybrid's mesh is a lot more like the mesh that you can find here on the Kyrie 6, and that mesh is pretty okay. Like, it does get softer over time, but it is definitely not the most premium of materials. The mesh on the Kyrie line in general has always been a little bit underwhelming in terms of quality, but normally they do try to add some premium feeling touches. However, on this colorway of the Kyrie S2 Hybrid, you just have a little bit of leather here on the toe, and this toe rand is there to protect the material underneath from toe drags. This toe rand is actually from the Kyrie 4 as well. However, instead of the suede you have on this colorway of the Kyrie 4s, For this, you have synthetic leather. So once again, you do have that mesh from the Kyrie 6 almost all throughout the shoe. And then here on the back, you do have this rubbery TPU heel counter, and that is also from the Kyrie 6. The one on my pair of the Kyrie 6 is this translucent orange, but here on the Kyrie S2 Hybrid, it is almost entirely transparent. And then for this sort of strap as well as the tongue, it does come from the Kyrie 5. So here I have my Kyrie 5s in the Pineapple House SpongeBob collaboration colorway. So as you can see, it has that same exact flight wrap sort of strap thing. And I really like the lockdown that this feature gave me on the Kyrie 5s. You also have that same mesh tongue from the Kyrie 5s and that little piece of synthetic leather here at the top of the tongue. Then for the Nike swoosh on the Kyrie S2 Hybrid, it is this plastic material. And then here on the medial side, you do have this thinner TPU swoosh. Then for fit and sizing, I did go true to size with the Kyrie S2 Hybrid. It does use pretty much the same tooling as the Kyrie 4s, so the fit is pretty much the same. It fits pretty much true to size, and the lockdown is really good because you do have that flight wrap lacing feature that comes from the Kyrie 5. So if you have narrow feet or if you have normal width feet, then I recommend that you go true to size. Then if you have a wide foot, I would recommend that you go up half a size because you have these rubber teeth that come up both on the lateral as well as the medial side. This specific feature is to aid in containment, but you know, if you have a wide foot, I think this would cause some discomfort if you did go true to size. Then for the aesthetic details, you do have that split look down the middle. For this colorway of the Kyrie S2 Hybrid, they decided to do this thing where they had this sort of eye, and you can see that when you put both shoes together. So, like so. Then here at the heel, you do have a little bit more. So you have this window into the zoom unit at the back, and this is also from the Kyrie 4. So it has here number 11, then it says here, fear is not real. Then you have some more details on the midsole, so you have H+H. And on the medial side of the left shoe, you have JBY. Then on the midsole, you do have that rubber that comes up quite a bit. And it does give a pretty unique aesthetic because it looks like the shoe has teeth, both on the lateral as well as the medial side. Then for the mesh upper as well as this flight wrap piece, you do have this sort of tie-dye pattern. And it uses those signature USA colorways of red, white, and blue. It definitely has a lot going on, but at least the base is only 3 colors, so I don't feel like it's overboard. You do have these golden swooshes both on the lateral as well as the medial side. And then you have some other gold details, namely this Kyrie signature here on the flight wrap piece and this Kyrie logo here on the tongue. Then here at the back is my favorite aesthetic piece because it's also my favorite aesthetic piece here on the Kyrie 6. So you have that transparent rubbery plastic heel counter, which has this 3D radial pattern that's centered around this eye. And since the heel counter is transparent, you can see through it, and you can see underneath that there is this really cool graphic underneath. So when you combine that really intricate graphic underneath as well as that translucent 3D heel counter, it really is a very unique and eye-catching feature. Then lastly, the sock liner is this navy blue. Behind the tongue, you do have a little bit of red. And on the insole, you have this red Kyrie signature. Then for the overall aesthetics, this colorway is definitely very interesting. And it's definitely light years better than the first colorway that released here in the Philippines, which was the Japanese-inspired one with the cream-ish or off-white upper with those sort of dull or pale blue accents. This colorway is definitely more on the loud side, but like I said, it is just red, white, and blue in this sort of tie-dye pattern. So in my opinion, it isn't too crazy. I also really love that transparent heel cup with that intricate graphic underneath. You also have these awesome looking gold accents throughout the shoe. I also like that they kept the midsole nice and simple in this white because you definitely have a lot going on the upper, so it's best to keep everything else nice and simple. Then I also really like this feature on the Kyrie S2 Hybrid, even though it's pretty much useless. So one more time. Back. However, if I were to nitpick the overall aesthetics of the shoe, I would say that it kind of looks too similar to the Kyrie 4. Of course, the obvious features that aren't on the Kyrie 4 would be the Kyrie 5's flight wrap as well as the heel counter from the Kyrie 6. So what ends up happening is this looking really similar to the Kyrie 4, which is definitely not a problem if you like the Kyrie 4. But I can see some people being disappointed that the shoe really looks like the Kyrie 4 with just a few touches of the Kyrie 5 and Kyrie 6. But in my opinion, I really don't mind, especially since I do like the Kyrie 4 a lot, and it's also my favorite Kyrie to play basketball in. But please sound off in the comment section down below if this is too similar to the Kyrie 4, or if you're like me and you're perfectly fine with how they did this S2 Hybrid. Then for the price, the Nike Kyrie S2 Hybrid retails for 6,895 pesos here in the Philippines, or around 140 to 150 US dollars. I haven't seen the actual price on these in the US market, so the best I can do is to give the price range that I expect these to fall under when they do release in the US. It is almost the same price as the Kyrie 6, so do I think it's worth its price tag? I definitely do, especially when you compare it to the Kyrie 6, because the Kyrie 6 definitely does perform pretty well, but since this does have the traction and the cushion of the Kyrie 4, that's really what makes it worth it for me, because I really do enjoy the traction and cushion more on the Kyrie 4, but it definitely depends on your personal preference. If you'd much prefer a Cushlon setup with heel zoom air, then the S2 would be the way to go, but if you're more a fan of the zoom turbo and Phylon setup on the Kyrie 5 and Kyrie 6, 6, then you should definitely go for the Kyrie 6. So please sound off in the comment section down below what you would prefer. Would you prefer the Kyrie 6? Or would you prefer the Kyrie S2 Hybrid? So there you have it, guys. That was my quick look and unboxing on the Nike Kyrie S2 Hybrid, what the USA. If you liked the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Then if you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions for any future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below as well. Then if you haven't already yet, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications. It would help us out a lot here at Sneaks and Ball PH.